Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome to this video. After last week's collective consciousness update, where we spoke about enlightening the root chakra, it felt very apt to continue that theme, those musings. So here is my Monday video, Monday musings, sharing another aspect of that root chakra, and actually all of us, really, all parts of us, all of our column of light. So this video is entitled, what is it entitled actually? Oh, which part of us feels wounded? And it's a really interesting one because I do hope that if you're watching this, whenever you're watching this, that this offers you some inspiration, realization, self-realization, and empowerment to realize that you can really change anything you want, just like that. So, which parts of us feel wounded? It's an interesting question, isn't it? Because the higher self doesn't feel wounded, right? The higher self is swirling around, connected with source continually in an eternal pool of love. The soul really also is on that same level because it's non-physical. And although there are different levels of densities and different dimensions that we can inhabit, we speak more about the densities in the Arcturian star channelings. But the soul, which is somewhat like the child of the higher self, there are multiple versions of your soul having all these experiences through space, through time, through all these different dimensions and planes and worlds and realities. And the soul's desire is to expand and grow, is to choose and lay out ahead of time, ahead of incarnation, the challenges and the areas that it wishes to explore, move through, seek wisdom of, and expand through. Some could even say that the soul is connected somewhat to the superconscious, which is often how we refer to the higher self, is that superconscious self, that source self, oversoul, monad, whatever label feels appropriate for you, that part of non-physicality, which is continually connected, doesn't feel any wounds, right? Because it's always whole. It's always in a state of love, because that is true nature. That is our true nature, really. But an interesting thing came through when I was channeling for someone the other day, and that was very much, we passively attune to the body. We passively attune to the collective energies. We passively attune to those ripple effects of thoughts that have gone out like sonic booms, because that really is how everything is picked up on, offered, and created, whether that's the star beings offering something down to us, comes through down this wonderful expanding continual ripple. Once it goes out, it's continually going out, and vice versa. It's the same with our thoughts. Now we know that the thoughts occupy the fourth density, or the sixth density even. Non-physical, the thought is a creation of the mind. And it is the thought that becomes the body. So when we look at what can feel wounded or what can feel separation, well, it's the perception, isn't it? It's the perception that we are separate from one another. It's the perception that we are on our own. We can look to the root chakra as well and go, there's that feeling of loneliness, of not belonging. But who do you want to attune to in that moment? Because if you're feeling that loneliness, that not belonging, that not being welcome, that separation, then it's a near enough guarantee that you're attuning to a perception of the mind, which likely has been thought enough times, this perception, to embody in the cellular memory of your body and become physical. So you've attuned to the body, but you are not the body. We know that we are not the body. How can we be the body? How can we be the body when we have past life memories, when we know that there is much more, when we feel that telepathic connection with someone, when we think of someone they call? How can we be separate? How can we just be the body? That's something else coming in there. That's a non-physical energy coming in, a higher level of thought even. The Arcturians would say that's the sixth density. Now, density, as we've looked at before and we've looked at in some workshops, is the embodiment, is time and space embodied consistently. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because when we start to just curiously ponder about what parts of us actually feel separation, what parts of us feels wounded, what parts of us feels like we didn't have the love from our mother, that nurturing from our mother, what parts of us felt abandoned by our father, right? Well, we might say emotions, but where do emotions come from? Emotions come from perception, from mind. And what does mind create? Mind creates matter, mind creates the body. So in that perception, continually perceived, emotions flow out without being expressed or heard, because the whole purpose of an emotion is to say, hey, do you really want to attune to that part of yourself? Do you really want to make that your primary focus? Do you really want to let that be what you're creating in your world around you? That's what emotions are for. It's like if you're driving and it says, oh, check the right light, and that little thing pops up in your car saying, check this light bulb. You know, you don't go, oh, it's telling me something, but I don't want to listen to it. I'm just going to keep ignoring it. No, we stop the car and we go, oh, look at that light's out. Oh, I should change that. You know, it tells us that there is a pathway that we're taking, or that something that is created already maybe isn't in our highest good. It is maybe coming from separation rather than coming from love, fear rather than love. Because what is fear really at the end of it all? It's that absence of love, right? Fear is that perception of isolation, separation on our own in this world. Here, but not really welcome on it. And all that gets stored down in the root chakra. Like when something comes down, when we start to embody something, it kind of goes down first before it goes back up again. It's kind of like this, right? It comes down from the mind. If it doesn't stay long enough in the heart, then it misses the heart. It comes down, it goes into our cellular memory of our body, it goes down into the root chakra, it embodies, it becomes our roots. It becomes those roots. And the soil around those roots isn't nutritious, isn't nourishing. And then what starts to grow is continual ripple effects of that perception becoming embodied not only within ourselves, but also showing up outside through other people, through our perception of what others are doing or saying or thinking about us. Because in every moment of time, you know, we never actually truly know what someone is thinking or their intentions. We only see it through our current perception. Some will call that a veil or a lens. So change the lenses. Let your perception shift. Let yourself attune to all of who you are. When we do that, we can change anything just like that. When we allow ourselves to focus on feeling, on embodying that love, on really connecting with what true love feels like. Because we are true love. We are living love embodied, right? If we allow it to embody. We are living love. And so if we allow ourselves to really feel, to really just welcome in, just for a moment, what it means to us to feel love without using typical emotional words, but what does it feel like? What does that true love feel like? No expectation, just acceptance, homecoming, appreciation, abundance, always everything working out. Highest divine flow. Is this love to you? I wonder what it is to you. What is love to you? What is true love to you? Oftentimes we put an emotion to it. We put an overlay onto another. True love is this person doing this. No, that's not true love. That's a perception. That's someone else doing something that you've perceived to fill a certain need. But what does true love feel like? That's only something that you can feel in your heart. Because really, when we're connecting with the purity of what true love is, we're connecting with all of who we are. We're connecting to the part of us connected always eternally with source energy. We're connected to the part of us that doesn't believe or create experiences that are occurring around us that make us feel less than. True love reminds us that we are source energy, that we are empowered. We haven't ever given our power away for us to need to call it back. True love is that recognition, right? But what is it for you? I'm just spiraling some words out here, translating vibration here, but I wonder what it is for you. Because when we start to focus and feel into that consistently enough, we start to change what the main road is that we go down within our mind. We start to attune to all of who we are rather than the limited version of who we are, which then creates a new reality for us, which then allows healing to occur, because in reality, that healing never needed to occur in the first place. We were already healed, we're already whole. It is the body that feels less than. But then every time we've overlaid an expectation upon someone for what we think they should be offering us, and that could be a parental archetype. That could be a mother or father figure. My father wasn't here to support me. My mother didn't offer me the nourishment that I should have had. Well, that's an expectation, right? That's an expectation of the mind onto them. And sure, of course, in the physical form, there is a certain role that we think that those humans have. But at the same time, they've probably not had that growing up. So how can they offer something that they haven't experienced themselves as well? Right? The healing only starts and ends within ourselves. That recognition only starts and ends within ourselves. We can't expect someone else to change when really it's not them that needs changing. It's the love that needs to be offered, right? Because they're also wounded. So our perception, our lack of expectation, and instead just acceptance is a beautiful remedy for whenever we've overlaid an expectation unknowingly, because no one tends to knowingly just place an expectation onto someone in love's name, right? So, but this is just something I was thinking about today. And for the past couple of days, just as people have asked certain things, and it's always a joy to record these videos and to share these ponderings and musings and meditations on Wednesdays and star channelings on Saturdays with you all. I also am going to find great joy on Friday the 3rd, because we're in a very powerful week, a very powerful month is starting this February. Tune more into the star channelings to hear more about that. But this first week, it's a very powerful week. And on the 3rd of February, I have the honor and the joy of being a guest on Jackie White's Conscious Cafe call. And we're going to be talking more about this. We're going to be talking about the way of the rose, the path of the rose, Magdalene's, some call that, the Magdalene, the rose lineage. We're going to be talking more about that, but really what that is, it's a way of the heart. And it's what is being seeded amongst all of us right now. It's what is commonly associated with the divine feminine, but also the divine masculine. And it truly is something that will help heal and blossom within you that remembrance of the rose lineage of those lifetimes you've had, that knowing. So if that calls to you, that workshop is on Friday, the 3rd of February at 7 p.m. till 8:30. It's online on Zoom. There is a recording if you can't make it live, so feel welcome to register just for the recording. And it will be a joy to bring through some remembrance for you, blessing, meditation, and for those that are live, there'll be group discussions as well. We'll be breaking out to all actually connect with one another and discuss a few things about that rose lineage, about the way of the heart. I look forward to seeing you there on the 3rd. And thank you for watching, for listening, subscribing, commenting. I'll see you again on Wednesday for whatever meditation is channeled through.